Gisela who? Hello! It's me, Gisela. So, I was born in Manila. And did you know that my mother almost gave birth inside a pedicab because she was too stubborn that day? And ever since I was a child, I have an asthma that we even have our own nebulizer in house. Asthma like... Char. Anyways, my first education is kinder instead of nursery. And another story is when I was a child, I fell from the top of our double deck, hitting my head first against the floor. I was brought in the hospital, but luckily, there wasn't any severe damage in my brain. Some would say that an angel caught me or whatever, I don't know. But yeah, this is my story, so what's yours?
Hi, I'm Caitlin, the cutie artsy of Sampalo. People know me for my Jeje typings and my quirky personalities. I was born in Santa Mesa, Manila. My parents were good friends until romance sparked between them. They got married when my mom got pregnant with me. At an early age, I was already in and out of hospitals due to my weak health condition. I got confined due to a gastrointestinal problem. I also had amoebiasis. My asthma began to manifest at the age of 5, and at the age of 7, I got dengue and I was almost paralyzed. My parents are too strict, which is why I can't go outside to play and have friends. My only form of entertainment is playing with my toys and watching cartoons. During my school days, I was excellent at academics, and I also loved joining contests because it gave me the compliments and validation I needed from my family. This is my story. How about yours?
Ring ring ring, did I hear someone call for Christine? Hello, this is Christine, your dedicated and serene companion. My parents first met while serving as bridesmaid and groomsmen at my aunt's wedding. My brother was first, and then after a couple of years, there's me. When I was a child, my primary complex, a condition common in children, was the least of my worries. I was always frustrated in school, and I also recall my mom was teaching me to correctly spell the word well, and I was unable to do it. That time, she was very upset. On exam day though, I aced the math exam. Well, this is my story. What about yours?
Rise and shine! I'm Caroline, the Miss Independent of Bacoor, Cavite. Everything began when my mother and father first crossed paths while she was a maid at his aunt's house. And that is how I was made. And this is my story. In the little town of Bacoor, my family and I resided in a simple home. Every Sunday, we gather with my family to celebrate at my auntie's house where barbecues are always offered. I have a tendency to get wild, talk to myself, and have accidents. When I once disobeyed my mother, I stumbled and severely bruised my knee as a result. Several years later, I graduated as the class valedictorian. My mother has always encouraged me to study for my exams, and if I ignore her, I shall be punished. This is my story. How about yours?
Losing me is true like you never know. Missing me is dark gray all alone. Forgetting me is like trying to know somebody you never met. But loving me is red. Hi, my name is Red, and knowing me will be quite simple. It is like trying to solve a crossword puzzle and realizing that there is no right answer. Just kidding, but do you know what happened when my mom and dad encountered one another in a Malacte bar? Just imagine it. And this is my story. I was raised in Manila where I currently reside, and I enjoy all things from my favorite foods to my hobbies like singing and dancing to music. But do you know what's strange? My hair was very curly when I was born, and after the years went by, it grew straight. Despite of all of the wax and gel that I'm using, it will never stay in one place and it will always fall down. This is my story. How about yours?
Ng mga ulap pang tayo lamang ang tanging magkakanawan. Di ko sa paligid ng maawit-awit, natutulala sa
What's up? I'm FMJ Lastimoso, the cutie TikTokeries of Tondo, born in Manila. I was born without my biological father because he had a mistress before I born. While I was growing up, I never met my father. But my mother had a new husband, and it's all start how my four siblings was born. I was so careless, stubborn, and naughty when I was a child. Unlike what number 2 experience, I also experienced having an amoebiasis because I always put any food in my mouth. I always cried when my mother dropped me off at school when I was in kindergarten. Having many friends is one of the best memories when I was a child because I really enjoyed playing outside with my playmates like patintero, batuhan bola, and any outdoor activities. This is my story. How about yours?
Hey guys, what are you doing? My name's Aya. You're happy and clumsy. Oops. Ouch, I bumped my head again. Oh well, that should explain how I came to be as I was born on Friday the 13th. How fortunate, right? And this is my story. I was born in Tondo, Manila. Actually, I always had accidents here. And there was this one incident where my head injury was that severe and it required plenty of stitches. Yes, plenty. All of us as kids always picture the perfect family, but that was not my case. My family isn't perfect. When I was 3 years old, I had to answer calls from my father's mistress. But what about that? Despite everything, I excelled in my academics and received the class salutatorian award. This is my story. How about yours?
Whenever I see a plant, it always reminds me of myself that I'm still growing and will keep on growing until I reach my peak and blossom into the person I want to be. A passionate psychologist and businessman. I am Gomar Gay Velarde, 19 years old, a sophomore in PhilM studying Bachelor of Science in Psychology, ang bigating psikologista ng Pandacan, Manila. So sit back, relax, and enjoy my life. It was a sunny day on the 2nd of May at exactly 5 p.m. where two bundle of joy was born at the hospital ng Manila. After a 15-minute interval, their 3 kilograms twin sister, a precious little angel named Gual Margot, entered the picture and forever blessed the lives of her parents. I was born second, but my parents would always tell me that I learned things first. I walked first, I spoke first, I loved first, but I never became first to them. Haha, joke. So, well, my childhood years were pretty much a blur, though I've tried asking questions to my family, but apparently they don't seem to remember it as well, maybe because there weren't any remarkable scenarios that happened during these years. But I remember that at my age of 5, my father left for his work in Dubai as a nurse, but he'd always make sure that we would always travel every time he goes home for vacation. So he set up a mandatory vacation by which our small family would always go to our province, Boracay. And that's been our routine until I was 10. This is my story. How about yours?
After being born, we experience a lot of things at a young age. So sit back and relax because this is the continuation of our story. There were a lot of changes in my life when I moved to Cavite. I was a transferee, the people, the surroundings, everything is new for me. Moving in Cavite gave me a chance to experience a wonderful childhood that I never had before. Because unlike in Manila, I was able to play outside and make friends with my neighbors. Also, with a new environment and fresh air, my asthma almost disappeared and my health got better. Then it didn't take me long enough to adjust, make friends, and excel in my academic life, such as competing in different contests to represent my school. Our SPC is my favorite, by the way, and other achievements that became special part of my life. Then high school happened, and it was another adjustment for me because I enrolled in a far city, away from my usual, but still I managed to make friends and maintain my academic standing. Ever since then, I developed an obsession with reading, where in fact, one of my favorite core memories in that age is the book signing with my favorite authors. And I don't know if I'm also obsessed with enrolling in farther schools, but yes, it happened again in senior high school and now in PLM. Well, I guess I just perceive them as new adventures. And speaking of adventures, one of my major is when joining CADA, which best contributed to my transformation of being a better version, especially in my spiritual life. Until now, I am a volunteer there, and although growing up changed a lot about me, including my passion in academics, writings, and arts, I am still grateful that I passed my dream school and my dream course. And above all, I am grateful for still having the courage to go on in life.
No one told me about the challenges growing up has to offer. I may have been successful as a student, but my relationships are as toxic as lead. What about having two-faced friends? The one who says they care about you but only pretends. Or having an abusive ex-boyfriend who cheats, the one who traps you in with his lies and deceit. If compromising my health for academics is a sport, I'd be a champion. Life has been throwing me lemons, but I can make them into lemonades. I've turned to music and arts as a form of distraction and self-care. My parents are present, but they are actually never there. Everything was too much for me to take in that I made cuts through my skin, hoping to end the scare. I was in the dark place, but fortunately for me, I found a way out. I finally met the right people whom I can call my friends, who are true and will stick to you like glue. And then there's Pretzel, an angel who came in my life to give me hope and a reason to fight. I'm now trying to fix my relationships with my parents, and I've also come to terms with my sexuality and finally felt free. It may have been a bumpy road, but I'm alright now. I'm currently going after my dream of becoming a surgeon, using my past as my motivation.
Who would have thought that this group was composed of stellar students? Medal, trophy, name it. Like other member stories, sacrificing your health is not so new to students who value grades more than health. But there's also the pressure and expectation that comes from people around me that either bound to encourage me or left me with wounds. Cheater, that's what my so-called friends call me, only because I got the highest score on an exam. The thing is, there is a friend that will support you and there is a friend that will exhaust you. Lucky for me, I met that couple of friends that will support me and they are more than enough. It was on February 27, 2016 that made my life completely change. This is the time when I got baptized and became a believer of the Lord. What a wonderful and blessed day it was.
Did you know that after my father died, I had my first birthday cake in 3 years? Yes, and I'm still accepting gifts, by the way. Should we play another graduation march? Cause yours truly is also a stellar student with medals and trophies that seems too heavy for me to hold. How about giving a hand? But the heavier the award, the bigger the academic stress that caused the veins to rupture in my legs. But enough with accolades. How about we talk about love life? I had my first ever relationship, but there is also a suitor of mine that ends his life and left a traumatic experience on me. Now, I am living independently in Manila, and if ever you guys are nearby, let's meet.
Hello, it's me again. My name is Red, but at a certain point of my life, it was color yellow. And do you know why? It is because of teasing remarks, disguised insults, and laughter that when I was a kid, it is all that I can hear. And without them knowing that my insecurities had actually gotten worse. Because teasing someone's appearance is not something that you should laugh about, and it cannot be forgiven with just a statement like, biro lang naman. Fortunately for me, I was able to build self-confidence and I filled my heart with love, and now I am much better and stronger than ever.
Numbers just added up to my age, but I was still a child with some naughty and careless decision in my life. Just like I was stepped on a grill that prevented me from playing outside. Which is sad because all I ever enjoyed is playing outdoor games with my friends. But as years passed by, aside from playing, I also enjoyed spending my time reading Wattpad, watching K-dramas, learning to bake, helping homeless youth, and attending our activities in the church. I also enjoy my dedication to academics as I graduated with honors. Eventually, I became a Sunday school teacher in our church. I got my first work experience and my first romantic relationship. I guess it's the best age for some new experiences, including unforgettable experiences just like our mission trip in Pampanga, wherein we met Itas and shared with them the Word of God.
I agree. Indeed, this age is a good time for new experiences. But for me, it wasn't just some good ones. I almost got into an accident, and it was rather fortunate for me that nothing worse happened, but not for my dog because at a young age, I witnessed the death of our dog. I witnessed my mother undergo her heart surgery. I witnessed how our family lost everything due to a house fire last 2019. And I witnessed how my family split apart as my parents got annulled. Those were the difficult times in my life, including the time that I cut ties with my father for almost a year because I felt emotionally abused by him. But despite the difficulties, I was able to excel in my class and graduated with honorable mentions. Despite the dark memories, I still have the bright ones, such as I attended my first K-pop concert, I graduated from senior high school with high honors, and passing all my entrance exams including PLM with my dream course. I was able to start my small business, and lastly, I had my first romantic relationship. So you see, the sun will always find its way to show up even on the heaviest rainy days in my life.
Fast forward to my teenage years. Speaking about the sun, have you ever wondered what the sunrise looks like in another country? Is there even a difference? Well, in my opinion, it wasn't the looks but experience that makes a difference because when I reached 13, I spent my first teen birthday in Singapore. My parents made the yearly vacation abroad mandatory, so after Singapore, we traveled to Hong Kong, Malaysia, and lastly, Indonesia, which was also the last time we traveled to other countries. During this time as well, I met my first ever boyfriend at the age of 13 in the same Catholic school we're studying. His name was always displayed on top of all students in the boys department, and as someone who wanted to make friends, I messaged him hi, and that's where the story started. I really wasn't expecting a relationship with him because imagine at the age of 13. But long story short, until now that I'm 19 years old and he's 19 years old, we are still on the same page. But of course, what's life without challenges, right? So, since I got a boyfriend with such exemplary academic performance, people would set standards and pressure me. And as someone who doesn't like pressure and never experienced it, I welcoming face pressure to my life. I was once an average student who became a first honor student, and just in preschool years, I found myself immersed in science and mathematics competition again. But yet again, it is life. So we are not always at the top. The pandemic happened and I was financially, physically, and mentally exhausted. It literally took a toll on my life. I was highly anxious every single day of my life, but still, I graduated in senior high school with flying colors, passed first entrance exams, including Developmental, and I became a freelancer and was hired in various positions and in various countries such as Singapore, the United States of America, and in London. Just thinking of my physical, financial, and mental crisis in the previous years, all of these milestones of mine that I achieved were proof that everything is part of the process. You really just have to muster up all the courage in yourself and go through it.
It's great to see everyone today as we talk about the theory that could explain what has occurred to our group members throughout the years. The understanding of how people develop intellectually was profoundly influenced by Piaget's theory of cognitive development. Sensory motor intelligence, pre-operational thinking, concrete operational thinking, and formal operational thinking are the four main stages of cognitive development identified by Piaget. Each stage roughly corresponds to a period of childhood development. The theories and writings of Piaget are important for those who work with children because they help them realize that a child's development happens in stages throughout time. The development of stages as a basis for identity and knowledge provides an explanation for how children of all ages develop intellectually.
The sensory motor stage lasts from birth to 2 years of age. During this time, an infant's knowledge of the world is restricted to sensory perceptions. At this stage, a child's entire experience is facilitated by basic reflexes, senses, and motor responses, and they go through a period of rapid growth and learning during this stage. Although there isn't much information provided by members at this stage because we're too young to remember what happened, most members learn how to crawl and walk slowly. This stage demonstrates that children at this age learn physical actions such as crawling and walking.
The pre-operational stage, on the other hand, occurs between the ages of 2 and 7 years old, during which time children learn to use language. At this stage, children do not understand concrete logic, cannot mentally manipulate information, and cannot understand the perspectives of others. At this point, all of the members had learned how to communicate or use language. This stage also allows the child to learn through pretend play. For example, Carol and Gwen frequently play at this stage with other children or just by themselves. At this point, the majority of the members had enrolled in preschool or kinder, where they learned to think symbolically and to use words and pictures to represent objects.
Concrete operational stage happens at the age of 7 to 11. As a child, they become curious about a lot of things which will soon involve the process of logical thinking and reasoning. In this stage, children begin to understand logical reasoning and become less egocentric. The logical thinking is a process of comprehending relationships and sequences, and it is utilized not just in education, but also on a day-to-day basis. For instance, the group started to enroll themselves in schools at this young age. Caitlin and Gwen started to join contests while the rest of the members were already excelling academically during this time.
Lastly, we have the formal operational stage, which is the final stage in Piaget's theory. Formal operational stage happens when children begin to engage with and comprehend the concepts of morality, philosophy, spirituality, political issues, and the likes, which require their abstract reasoning. At this stage, some of the members started building relationships and facing the horror of decision making that may affect their future. For instance, Gisela entered CADA, a non-government organization outside her school that played a significant role in transforming herself into her better version, especially her spiritual life since she was able to build a stronger relationship with God. Another member, FM Joy, became a Sunday school teacher in their church. Meanwhile, other members such as Caitlin, Aya, and Gwen started to develop their romantic interest while Carol was pressured into choosing her career choice.
It is essential to remember that Piaget did not see the intellectual growth of our young selves as a quantitative process. In other words, as we grow older, we do not just add to our previous knowledge. Instead, Piaget proposed that as children progress through these 4 stages, there is a qualitative change in how they think. At age 7, children don't merely have more knowledge of the world than they did at the age of 2. There's also a fundamental shift in how our younger selves think about the world. Piaget wrote, "I find myself opposed to the view of knowledge as passive copy of reality. I believe that knowing an object means acting upon it, constructing systems of transformations that can be carried out on or with this object. Knowing reality means constructing systems of transformations that correspond more or less adequately to reality." The emergence of knowledge and intelligence is an essentially active process according to Piaget's theory, which is one of his central ideas. Our knowledge of children's intellectual development has been aided by Piaget's theory of cognitive development. It also emphasized the fact that we weren't just passive sponges for information. Instead, as we develop our grasp of how the world functions, we are continuously gathering information and conducting experiments.